So, any Harry Potter fans here?
Me!
So, please join me in welcoming the director and the cast of Snape and the Marauders. I'm going to allow our wonderful, wonderful panelists to introduce themselves so they can tell you all the awesome things that they are.
Hi, I'm Justin Zagri. Hello. I'm Justin Zagri. I wrote and directed a Harry Potter fan film a while ago called The Greater Good, which got a lot of attention on YouTube, and it gained a fan base, and I raised some money to make Severus Snape and the Marauders, which we are working diligently to finish.
My name is Nick Ignis, and I'm playing young Severus Snape in Severus Snape and the Marauders. That you just saw the teaser trailer for. That was it?
Oh my gosh, that looks really cool. My name's Garrett Schwackhauser. I play a young... Yeah, there it is. I play a young James Potter in Severus Snape and the Marauders.
Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Stanko, and I am young Remus Lupin.
In this movie? Yeah. No, just in general. David Thewlis before he got old and good.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zachary David. I play the young Peter Pettigrew. No one cares.
In Severus Snape and the Marauders.
Hi, I'm Danny J. I get talked over top of all the time over here. I'm Danny J. I play Lily Evans.
Hi, I'm Kevin Allen. I'm dressed as Sirius Black today. And oh my God, guys, I've been coming to Comikaze like every year since it began, and this is my first time on a panel. This is the coolest moment of my entire life. Thank you for being here.
Kevin, what do you do in the movie?
Oh, funny story. I actually also play Sirius Black in that. So, yeah. He makes a cameo at the end. Yeah.
So, my first question is for the director of Snape and the Marauders, Justin. Justin, technically this film is not canon, it's a fan film. And I was wondering, story-wise, what are you hoping to contribute to the Harry Potter world? And how does the official Harry Potter world fit into your film?
Oh yeah, go
Say
for it.
Accio.
Use your magic.
Yeah, you gotta use magic, bro.
Accio.
Sorry, I forgot my wand today. The biggest compliment I ever got from people that saw The Greater Good was headcanon accepted. So people loved it and said, "Oh my, this is now how I envision that moment when Dumbledore faced Grindelwald as a teenager and lost his sister Ariana." So that left me with a lot of responsibility for Snape and the Marauders because we were telling an original story that is not in the books, but it has to fit within the story of the books. So the idea was, I actually asked the fans, like, what do they want to see? And like, I did a poll and it was like, Marauders, 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 Marauders. So Snape's my second favorite character. You can't have Marauders without Snape. So I said, what would, at least in my opinion, there's some people on Tumblr who would disagree. I said, what would make a good story about these two? And I said, well, the only time we see them together is when they were confronting each other, or James confronted Snape and it was a terrible memory. What would happen if they confronted each other again without school? Like without anything holding them back? And why would they confront each other? What would it be about on a big scale, the Wizarding War, and on a small scale, James's newfound romantic relationship with Lily? So our goal with this is to make it so the production value is so high and it's taken seriously as more than a fan film. As people question it going, is this real? Did Warner Brothers do this or sanction this? Or that's the goal, is to be well beyond the kind of tripe that a fan film sometimes gets. So hopefully we pull that off.
My next question is for the cast. I imagine it was probably a really big undertaking to take on these epic characters. So I was wondering, what were your reactions when you auditioned for this film, and from rehearsal all the way down to shooting? What were your reactions? What were your thoughts? What was it like?
Well, it's funny. Like I actually did not audition for this film normally. Like Justin was looking for somebody who kind of resembled, an actor who resembled a young Severus Snape. And we just had this mutual friend who ended up tagging me in one of his posts. And Justin contacted me on Facebook and was just like, hey, would you like to come out and read for this film? And he sent me over the script, and I was blown away by the complexity of the characters in this particular story, especially in the fact that with Severus specifically, you're seeing him throughout all of the films and all of the books as having kind of dealt with the aftermath of everything he went through as a child, everything he went through with through school, Lily's death. He's very closed off and cold character because of all the events that happened before we met him in the first book. So this was a fantastic challenge for me to look at Severus and figure out what he was like before his entire life was torn apart and before all these things started falling around him. So I got to explore this character who I grew up really loving and really finding all these complexities with and figure out what he was like before we actually meet him. So it was a very, very exciting challenge, and I had a blast, putting together this very troubled, tortured, but darkly romantic character.
Darkly romantic. Nice. I can see it. Gosh. I just have to say, when I saw the casting come up online, I was in a public place and I squealed like a little girl because James Potter is awesome, and I did everything I could to get this role. I spoke in a British accent throughout the entire audition, hoping he would think that I was actually English. There was a lot of stuff that went into it.
Almost worked.
I was so close.
He just came into the room first. I was like, hello, Governor.
I nailed it. It was great. I don't know. I love the books. I loved everything about Harry Potter as a kid growing up. James Potter, not a lot is written about him, so kind of delving into it, I just took it like another role, and I just kind of looked at it. My favorite thing about playing James Potter is that he really takes the weight of the world on his shoulders, and the people that mean a lot to him, he'll do anything for those people. So that was one thing I really wanted to highlight with this character, is that, he has these friends and he's willing to give everything for them. So I hope you guys deserve it.
Okay, so for reals, my reaction was just, oh my gosh! I was so excited. I was very disappointed, though, because I wanted to be Sirius Black. But then everybody wants to be Sirius Black.
That's so funny because
Coolest dude.
I didn't think I was cool enough to play Sirius Black, so I submitted myself for Lupin.
Right?
And was not invited.
Not that Lupin isn't really cool, because Lupin is definitely really cool.
Yeah,
obviously. But Lupin is like one of people's favorite characters, and one of mine too. He's got this incredible warmth to him, and yet he's also a horrible monster thing when the moon is out, So there's that great dichotomy between someone who is so relentlessly loyal and wonderful and warm and has such an impact on Harry's career, and then someone who also is so volatile. So it was fun to, romp naked in the moonlight to prepare for this role. And now
We weren't even shooting.
Yeah, it's part of my process. And yeah, now all of my jeans have just chocolate on the inside of the pockets. So it has been. It's been a dream. I mean, this is what the heart of Comikaze is, dressing up and being all of these wonderful people that have influenced our lives. And so to be able to do that for a little while on this movie was just a dream come true.
Dream come true. That's go.
So when I first saw the casting notice, I saw it and I was like, oh sweet, they're doing a film on the Marauders. That's really cool, and we're really looking forward to seeing it. And I thought, not really right for anyone. But I was on set at the time. No, this is true. I was on set at the time with on another project, and one of the other people there, a young woman, and she saw it. She said, oh, that's really neat. I'm gonna go out for Lily Evans. And I was like, oh, cool. And she was really cute. So then I submitted myself. Thought maybe I could get Peter Pettigrew, and I did. And now I am playing the least liked character in the film.
To be fair, without spoiling anything,
He's actually the most liked character in this film. He's so witty, and his wit translated into the film. He's so much fun in this movie.
Technically, it's before he's done those horrible things.
Two microphones. Yes. I was not expecting this to be what I thought it was until I got the final callback, and then I was going through it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this really is what I think it is. Holy crap. And it was, the mind blow didn't come on the first opening of the audition like the other guys did. Mine was at the end. So it was actually kind of like a spoiler alert for myself. It was kind of cool. I love delving into Lily. She was a lot of fun to portray and to study and to ponder. We know so much about her in her adulthood, but her childhood is something that really had a lot of unanswered questions to be solved. So it was a lot of, I don't know, piecing together pieces of the puzzle that hadn't ever been done before. And that was something that I really enjoy in character work in general. So she was an especially fun character to portray.
Yeah, for me, it was mostly panic and a lot of stress and fear, because I didn't grow up with Harry Potter. It came into me later in life, and so I've been playing catch up ever since. And I saw the word Marauders, I was like, oh my gosh, and then Sirius Black, and like I said, went for Lupin, didn't get invited. He put up a second notice for Sirius. He said, okay, I'm gonna go out for Sirius. I put together like this shambled version of his costume for the audition, like hoping I could like, you'd be like, oh, you kind of look like him. I guess we'll let you in. And then the biggest thing for me and like what it was like to be cast was the callback. I show up and it was, sorry, I want to say James and Remus.
That's okay. It's better than my real name.
Paul and Garrett were there. And I'm like, oh man, like, okay, they totally like looked the part, and like my hair's not long enough, and I'm not cool enough. And then Zach showed up, and I was like, God, that's Peter. Like, and, yeah. It was like, we're all in character. So like, we sat down in the callback process. We're like, all right, so here's a 5-minute scene, and feel free to ad lib. So it went on for 20 minutes, and it got to the point because the competition was like the callback was. That Remus was trying to talk James out of doing something he's going to later regret, and it was Remus had to convince everyone to join, like to tell him no, and then Garrett is the most convincing arguer ever, and as someone who basically Sirius was boiled down to whatever James says, like it was so hard to contribute to this scene, and they were killing it, and meanwhile I'm just like, I'm just gonna sit here and just pray that this is the right move to do, and like, it was the whole film. Garrett can, oh my God. Justin can attest like how nervous and how much of a wreck I was the entire shoot because there was so much weight on my shoulders with this character and I did not want to screw it up. J.K. Rowling said that Gary Oldman was like the most like what she envisioned in her head. I'm like, great, so I have to live up to Gary Oldman. And,
I didn't notice you. You were fine, dude. I was too busy freaking out over our final day of shooting with downpour rain outdoors, potentially making the shoot not, potentially killing the shoot. So
World magic.
whatever you guys were freaking out about, I was a bit too busy freaking out.
Well, if it wasn't you, then I noticed my girlfriend, she was my character consultant. She's a Gryffindor and she knows Harry Potter. Yeah, like the background. And so, especially the first day of shooting.
No, that was.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a Hufflepuff, so thank you. Yeah! Where my Ravenclaws at?
Remus is a Hufflepuff. Sorry, no. Paul's a Hufflepuff.
I just
Remus
kept
is a
like,
Gryffindor. Paul's a Hufflepuff.
I'm a Ravenclaw.
the entire shoot though, that first day, I kept leaning over to her like, what about this? What about this? Should I do this? Should I not do this? There's Sirius Black, like I know I'm rambling, I'm sorry. I took bits of Ron Weasley's relationship with Harry. I took a lot of James's relationship with Snape. I threw in like obviously the young Sirius Black stuff. I filled the cracks in with John Lennon. Like I was trying to create. No, I'm not kidding. I tried to create this patchwork of character to create what young Sirius Black would be like, because I was like, I do not want to screw this up. There's so many Harry Potter fans, and this is an awesome character, and they deserve to have it done right.
So, one question I had for the panel. We know from the books that the Marauders, as fun as awesome as they were not always very nice. There were times when they were kind of bullies, specifically towards Snape. So I was wondering, given how prevalent bullying is. And I think many of us probably have been victimized by bullies in our lifetime. I wanted to ask both the director and also the cast a little bit about bullying, about maybe either this film or the books, about what bullying means, about how the different characters maybe respond to bullying and are affected by bullying.
Well, for me, with this film, the premise of the film is exploring the consequences of people's actions in the real world. When people are in school, they can get away with a lot of things, and the only discipline you get is detention, maybe suspension, at the worst expulsion. But you're not going to go to jail. You're not going to get injured. You're not going to get hurt. When you have six powerful trained wizards, four of which who, at the very least, are apprehensive of one of them, and at the very most, absolutely hate him, and you put them together, that creates really bad consequences. And it doesn't go well for anybody, without giving anything away. And it's a consequence of bullying. You get to see on both sides what the consequences of bullying and the consequences of handling it poorly. Because without giving anything away again, Snape doesn't handle it well. So really the film is about like taking the higher ground and what happens when no one does. So that's how I kind of portray bullying in this movie.
Growing up, I dealt with a lot of bullying, especially middle school, early high school, right around the time that I was actually reading these books, and I was really into these books. And these books were very much an escape for me for dealing with a lot of the crap that I dealt with in school. So reading this and knowing what Snape had gone through, knowing his past of growing up in a very difficult childhood and a lot of those problems he was having carrying on through school, I understood where he was coming from as far as dealing with a lot of this abuse and a lot of these horrible situations. And obviously down the line, he got involved with a very, very bad crowd that was sort of this rebellious crowd against this status quo that he had been so harshly abused by growing up. But looking at him, you understand why, because you see this very poor set of cards that Snape was dealt with his upbringing from his parents, his schoolmates, being sort of this outcast, being this, complete opposite, polar opposite of James, who's a much more popular, charismatic, athletic sort of character, whereas, and whereas Snape is obviously a lot more into his studies, creating spells, and a lot more introverted. So you have these two polar opposite characters. You see why they grew up differently, and why some had privileges and some had more of their downfalls. The difference being, of course, that I handled the situation a lot differently than I feel Snape did in the books. He kind of let a lot of that darkness that was surrounding him seep in and ended up lashing out and making a lot of horrible mistakes. I don't see him as either a champion or a villain at this point in his life. He's just somebody who is going through a lot of serious complexity in his life and has made a lot of very poor choices. And unfortunately, you see a lot of those very poor choices come across in this film as well. So, one of the things about Snape is really, he's a love-or-hate character. There are people who are either he's their favorite character, they absolutely love the character, or there are people who absolutely despise him. And and I'm assuming that there's much more of the latter than the former in this audience. But I think that is a testament to how great this character is written and the complexity of this character and the fact that people feel so strongly about him one way or the other. So it'll kind of be left up to you once you see this film and who you're going to side with, because we remain pretty neutral on, these characters and their situation. There is no bad guy, there is no good guy. It's kind of a bunch of kids in this very strange, complex period of time in their lives and doing really stupid things.
Except Lily, she's an angel.
Except Lily, who is perfect.
Sing Lily.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, James does some pretty messed up stuff in this movie. It's not the right way to go about anything. He was still an awesome, fun character to play, so I don't know what that says about me as a person. He's just got, he's got a lot of things to protect, and he's got a lot of people he cares about. And I think the way he goes about protecting the people around him is incorrect, but awesome to watch in a movie. So, bullying, not good. What James does, not good. Fun to watch, not good to do in real life.
Thank you. Well, and did you say something?
No, it's just no pressure, but mic drop moment, please.
Oh.
Kill it. Nail it. Nail this answer. Do it. Do it.
Well, I'll drop it now. I can drop it now. Mic drop. From the perspective of Peter in this film, he's he's a weird place in the bullying because he's definitely complicit in the bullying of Snape as a character, but he's also being bullied by his friends, and that's just it's the relationship he has. He's kind of mired in it, and he's become so accepting of it, and it's kind of just a status quo, which again is just not the way to act around bullying. But it's just another level of what happens and one of the possible outcomes of bullying that hopefully people will see and be like, oh, that's not the way I should respond to that.
Mic drop in the beginning, it's different.
Right.
Trailblazer, Zach.
Do you want to keep going? Okay.
Speaking of bullying,
Lily's take on bullying is similar to my own. She remains pretty neutral on things and often, for better or for worse, tends to put herself in harm's way to neutralize the situation. She is a moderator, she's a manager of people in a sense, with this huge umbrella of love that she just kind of carries around with her wherever she goes, which is a great quality to have. It can make you blind to people's faults at times. Done that. But it's a good quality to have, and I think that it's something that she positively embodies, and I like that that's a message that she gives to the fans and to the readers out there of this is how you should be handling a situation. Instead of instigating it, making it bigger, diffuse it. Find the happy medium, guys.
It was a challenge for me with this role. Not that I had never been bullied or experienced bullying in my life, but I don't like it. I mean, no one should. Bullying is terrible. And as Mick mentioned, no one's the villain and no one's the hero. So everyone loves to play a villain because it's your chance to be a pretend jerk and be like, I'm gonna take over the world and I don't care about anybody. And it's really easy to justify that as an actor, that I'm gonna take over the world and I'm better than these pitiful humans. But Sirius isn't a villain. He has people he cares about deeply. So it's not that he's like this cold, heartless individual, but then he's got this one guy he just doesn't like. And I took a lot of Sirius's relationship with his family into account because I felt like as the black sheep, they probably bullied him, and now in turn, he's doing it to somebody else who kind of represents his family in his eyes. And then as it goes on, Snape bullies Harry, and we'll see what happens with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. But bullying, it becomes this domino effect, this sick cycle that doesn't end until somebody just has the will to stop. And there were moments filming when it was like, Kevin Allen's going, this is going a little too far, like maybe we should stop this. But I had to keep no, I'm in character, and for some reason, Sirius is caught up in this right now. And so bullying, it's a difficult thing to work into your psyche. And I'm really glad what Justin said, this will hopefully show people it can end up very badly.
So I have a,
Sorry, I just wanted to give a shout out to Justin because he said he wanted to make a fan film. That the goal is that you guys are like, this is so good. Warner Brothers do this. That's what you're looking for, and it's not just taking a cool moment to watch. Obviously the Marauders are always fun for anybody who's a fan of the Harry Potter universe, but he took a lot of time in delving out characters and stories and things like bullying, things that we should be talked about. he puts into this film. So it's more than just fun things to watch. It's really like a great story that you guys are going to enjoy.
And making sure to get it right as well with the characters, because we knew we would get absolutely torn apart by the fan base if we did not get these characters right. So,
Which we should.
absolutely we should.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask a question that I'm sure everyone here is dying to know. So Justin, when should we
Yes, I'm
expect this
single.
film to come out?
Soon. So, long story short, a lot of aspects of the film are almost done. Music, sound, editing. The thing that's taking a while is visual effects, because we have a 7-minute long duel in there that involves everybody and everything, and it gets really crazy. And I got really crazy ambitious, and you guys will see eventually.
And
But
at one point, you've got 5 actors all going, Zach, Zach, Zach,
Yeah.
Zach. And
Which,
every
like,
time
I
we
didn't-
do that,
which is great when you watch the footage and there's no visual effects. Just,
Like, I didn't realize until like after we'd finished shooting, where it's just like, you know, some of it was choreographed, but otherwise we're just like shooting our wands at each other. And then I realized that every single time I did this, I'm like, oh god, that's one more visual effect he has to do. And I just go like this and this and this and this, and it's like, okay, in
Yeah.
2 seconds I just added 10 visual effects.
one of our VFX guys is in the back. He's the nonchalant wizard, Michael.
oh, right on.
So round of applause for him for putting up with us.
I just wanted to say to Michael really fast, I am so sorry. So sorry.
Also, so the visual effects is what's taking a while, and that's why I can't say exactly when. We're pushing for the end of the year. It's looking more likely like end of January, mid-February. But as soon as the new trailer is released, which I'm working on now, it will have a release date on it. So once that trailer's out, that will have a release date. That'll have a definitive answer. And since we're shouting people out, our music composer is here too. Alex, say hi. You guys got to hear a little bit of music. You guys got to hear a little bit of like subtle music in the background during those scenes, but wait till the duel starts. Wait till you guys hear the end credits. He's amazing. He's gonna be Hans Zimmer in 5-10 years.
I was listening to the orchestral score yesterday, and I texted Justin back immediately saying, it's like, oh crap, I can't suck in this movie now. Like now the music's too good, and I can't suck in this. I had a little wiggle room before, but now it's too good.
He's having live artists record certain instruments, and then the ending score is being recorded by a full 65-piece orchestra. And one more shout out, because it's just so cool, and it was totally like, oh my god, and no one even knew that because he couldn't tell anybody. One of the visual effects artists, he's doing just a little matte painting for showing Hogsmeade and Hogwarts, then going into the bar. And it's really hard to get a hold of him. He's like, I'm really busy, but I got a little bit done. And he showed me a little bit of progress. He's a little bit busy, a little bit done. And then the new Star Wars Episode 7 poster comes out. And his name is on it as the designer. Well, he's getting more done now because it's done.
So I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions for the panel. So if there's anyone that has a question, please raise your hand, or preferably come up to the front so we can hear you. Yes.
I'm pretty sure you've all gotten this somewhere along the line. How many serious jokes have you heard?
Oh God,
Seriously, so many.
The question is, how many serious jokes are in our film?
No, like I remember the first time we were like for the Kickstarter campaign, we all got together. We were like trying to, like, hey, you should put our film, because and someone made a serious joke, and it was just like, God, that's like the 4th one today. And like that was the one we got to film. Yeah, it never ends. And these guys, I swear, like every member of this cast is the funny one. And Zach especially is amazing with his puns. I can't believe how funny Mick is. So they find creative new ways to make serious jokes out of it.
Also Danny's really funny, and other people.
Everyone's so great. I love it.
Okay, seriously though? There is a little bit of a giveaway that we're gonna have for someone that has to.
Well, we got, I'll do it at 2:15, so we got 9 more minutes of questions.
And is there any criteria for the giveaway?
It's a trivia question.
So be ready. Just get your Harry Potter wiki on.
Yes. I went to the Kickstarter party, and now I'm here. And I'm
Thank you so much for showing up to
No, I
that.
really love you guys. Every time I meet you, it's like better and better. I'm really hoping when it's done, whenever it's done, take your time. No, seriously, I just filmed, so take your time.
Stop with the
Thank you for
jokes.
understanding.
I'm wondering, are you gonna have like a big release theater party?
Yeah, we'll have a big premiere, and everyone local's invited. We're gonna try and get we're looking at like a 400 or 500 seat theater that's got all the fixings, big red carpet, all that fun stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
We're also talking about getting a massive group of the fans of Severus Snape and the Marauders together for when the Wizarding World of Harry Potter opens, and then we're all going to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And you can get a tour from Garrett, actually. And Kevin, right?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. From Garrett.
I'm sorry.
Yes, over there.
Do we also get to see like a little bit of after, like what the character development of Severus Snape after Lily and Potter had the picture?
I don't want to give away any of the plot. I will say that everyone lives. We don't cover that. Because it happens 2 years later, this happens right after they graduate. And this is a single moment in time, so no, we don't go there.
You should see our Facebook chat with all of us on it, because we have discussed like story ideas and stuff like that of like what would happen afterwards. Like we believe me, we're as big like fans of this as you guys are and talking about it. It's like, okay, but what happens next?
We actually can't raise any more money to make another one. Warner Brothers Legal called us and said, you're welcome to make more films, but it's got to come off of your dollar, and after you see this, the standards are way too high. So, but we are considering kind of having a fun little expansion with a radio drama.
Good. That was a good response.
I love the audio effects here. Yes.
I really enjoyed The Greater Good, and I was wondering what you learned
Thank you.
from doing that one to this one.
I learned not to rush writing, because I just went into it and I didn't get other people's opinions nearly as much as I ought to. I now go to like 5 or 6 people that I really trust, get their opinions, tell them to be objective as possible. Tell people who are not into Harry Potter, like, what do you think of this script? They're like, well, I don't understand the characters. I'm like, okay, well, let me put a little writing in to help kind of understand the characters a little better. That's where that line of Peter Pettigrew saying, reckon you're going to settle in with a mini Potter? It's like, by the way, he's James Potter's son is going to be Harry Potter. Without without having a silly crawl at the beginning saying, a long time ago in a wizarding world far, far away, here's all this stuff that happened, so you're caught up. So
This movie
you have
makes
to be a fan
way
to-
more sense now. Okay, that's what's going on.
And the other thing I learned is,
Yeah, Harry being born. I thought that's how we were going to end the film.
I actually learned a lot from Greater Good that I applied to Severus Snape and the Marauders in how to get things done quickly. And because Greater Good was a shoestring budget, in fact, it was almost no budget, and we ran onto a beach off tourist season on a weekday to get it done, or a few weekdays to get it done. But Severus Snape and Marauders was entirely different. We had to have permits, we had to have insurance, everything, and that required a lot of prep, but we also had to be very resourceful because despite having a lot of money, it was still a very small amount of money if you understand what it takes to make a film. So that's what I learned. Thank you.
Yes.
Are we going to see the animagus forms of any of the Marauders in the film?
That's no spoilers on that.
No spoilers.
No, just leave it at that. No spoilers.
I will
Just say no spoilers.
I know. I will answer it indirectly. It is extremely difficult to do prosthetics and CG animals. Really incredibly hard. Our budget was meant for certain things. Having said that,
No spoilers.
no spoilers.
Yes.
What was your favorite new effect during the battle?
New effect? Like in post during working on visual effects? Oh, that would spoil. Yeah, that would spoil. I can tell you it involves fire.
I wonder what it is.
He actually, without spoiling, he actually did send us like a little sample of like the almost completed effect on what he's talking about, and it's really, really cool.
He doesn't send us anything. Like, this was a big deal. Anything.
Well, we all agreed we wouldn't watch the footage until it was done, and then broke it instantaneously.
Next question.
I guess you guys just want the poster. Oh, there we go.
My question is for young Sirius. Have you personally ever been in the friend zone? Like really put Sirius for all of their...
When did that happen? Did Sirius crush on Lily?
In the fanfiction world.
Well, if we're
Just
gonna
because
talk
we're
about-
doing a fan fiction
if
doesn't
we're gonna
mean-
talk about the fan fiction world, you should all hear about Remus's first kiss. It's a shame he's not here right now.
Yeah, Paul left. Otherwise, he'd tell you the story.
Paul's written a
To
500-page
answer your
fanfic.
question, no. Like, I don't really believe in the friend zone as a thing. Like, so if I've been there, I haven't noticed it. Like, I've had crushes on people who didn't return the favor, but that's like when I was 10, I followed this, you know, like every year I'd see her on like March, and that was it. But I'd be like, I'm still in love with you, even though I only see you once a year. What? I was 10. Anyway, but as Sirius, no, I honestly didn't really have any romantic attachments in mind with Sirius. I felt like his main thing was so much he was so close to his friends, and he had such a love for Hogwarts because that, in the same way Harry did, that was his place to be himself and realize who he is. That was more important to him, and he always struck me as the kind of guy who just was too cool for girls or anybody, really. So, not really. Yeah. And plus, I can't step on my boy James's toes.
All right, last question before we have our trivia question. Yes.
For young James, he is the Marauder that we see the actual least of throughout everything. What did you pull from finding his character?
Ooh, I like this question. That's a very good question. Honestly, I looked at the people around him. A lot of times you can tell a bunch about a person by who they surround themselves with. So looking into the other Marauders, that was pretty good. That was really cool. So I kind of realized that James picks up different personality traits from different Marauders. You know, he's as cool, as serious, you know, he can be as witty as Peter and as thoughtful as Remus. But the one thing that I really enjoyed about James's character is that he dies protecting someone he loves. That's what I know for a fact. So the kind of guy that'll do that is someone who is extremely loyal, who cares about the people around him, and who is smart enough to get things done, using secret keepers, all that stuff. Like, you know, he's a smart guy. So that's kind of where I started to pull from, just bits of the story, people who knew James, what they said about James, and then in the end, like, what I identified with as the character, as the actor. So, you know, I'm a loyal, honorable person, I think. And that's kind of what that was my kind of door and way into the character, and I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you for an awesome question.
All right, so now it's time for the trivia question. Justin, would you tell us the rules?
Raise your hand and answer it correctly.
It's a good
Here's
rule.
the prize. This has not been released yet, and it won't release for several weeks. So whatever you do with it, try to keep it to yourself, I guess.
The movie is inside the poster.
It literally is the movie inside the poster. I have a thing for Struzen, for anyone who knows who Struzen is. Anyways, whoever wins the question gets this poster. And it's the first of its kind ever printed, so if you want it signed, you get it signed, and no one else. There you go. Question is, what is the name of Newt Scamander's grandson, and who did he marry?
5 seconds.
Gary Luna, obviously, and they ended up having 2 kids. And his name is on the tip of my tongue, and I would fall miserably because I knew it right when you said it. So, wait a minute.
5 seconds.
10,
Come to me.
9,
Because I don't want
8,
the poster, so answer.
7,
Go with me on this.
6.
Oh, you just want the glory.
Yes.
Huh?
Because I'm friends with Kevin. I have things.
What's the grandson's? Congratulations.
I love you because I don't want the glory of knowing this.
So before we end our panel today, I'd like to go around and have all our amazing panelists tell us where you guys can find them on social media.
You can find everything about the film at snapemaraudersfilm.com. There's a link to our Facebook page where we update like every day.
You can find me on Instagram at Mick Ignis, just one word, or on my Facebook page at Official Mick Ignis.
Official. It's official.
Don't go to the unofficial one, it's really weird.
That's me. I'm the unofficial Mick Ignis. You can find me on Facebook at Garrett Schwackhauser. It's an actor page. Like it, look at stuff. You can find me on Twitter at @gschwei, where I talk about cool stuff. Spelled Gschwei. Don't go to the unofficial one because it's Mick.
You can find me on Facebook with Zachary David, and you can find me on Twitter where I make humorous comments on the world around me at My Work Here is Dumb.
How can you compete with this? My Facebook is Danny.j and my Instagram is Danny.j. Easy.
My Twitter is Kevin Allen Says, and my Facebook that I keep up with is Kevin Allen Face. So.
All right, please give it up for our amazing panelists. Snape and Marauders.
Thank you, everybody. We'll be around. We'll be right outside hanging out.
We've got these markers and stuff, so we'll sign things.
Word, that's true. Why don't we-